and I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And we should be good.
Okay, so what's your name?
Yeah.
I don't know. I only know like you're Billy, right?
We can do like. Is it like a conversation? Like you want to be
Yeah.
like, hey, like what's going on?
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, start again.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going today?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
I just finished my math class. How about you?
Dope. Yeah, no, I was just actually with Dr. Browning in this room, and he was flaming me for how bad a song I wrote is. But sorry.
Okay. So let's begin. What's your name and your grade, and what music class are you taking?
Yeah, I'm Billy. I'm a senior.
Mhm.
I'm majoring in biochemistry with a minor in music. What music classes am I taking right now? Right now I'm in anthropology of music with you, and
Yeah.
I'm in composition with Dr. Browning.
Okay. So what's your first memory about music?
I think my first memory in music would probably be like my first guitar lesson probably is a good one. That was in second grade. It was this guy that I didn't really know before that my father knew, who he just kind of he was a great guy. His name was John.
Mm-hmm.
And he just came over one day and put a guitar in my hand. And he was like, oh, like, you know, classic like first guitar lesson, like these are the strings, this is the neck, this is the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of like started noodling around a little bit, and I was like, whoa, like I want to be able to do that. That was my first musical memory.
So have you tried other instruments except guitars?
Yeah. So I guess I'll kind of just take you through the timeline. I started playing guitar in second grade, and then in the third grade, I started playing the recorder with like in like music class. And then by the end of third grade, they like asked us to pick like an instrument to be like in an ensemble for, like band or orchestra or whatnot. And at first I wanted to pick the trumpet because I thought it was just like a really cool instrument. But then I went home, my dad was like, yo, like the bass is actually really, really similar to the guitar. So you'll probably have a really good time like playing the bass, and it'll be a little harder for you to play trumpet. And obviously he was right, like in many other instances in my life, he's always right. So I started to play the bass at the end of third grade and into, you know, and really throughout all of my elementary, middle, and high school, I was in like orchestras, like string orchestras and symphonic orchestras with you know, brass and woodwinds and stuff like that. And then in sixth grade, I started playing in jazz bands, playing guitar and bass for those. And that was pretty much it, guitar and bass. I learned a little bit of cello. Yeah, I was playing mostly classical upright bass, solo performance, and also like orchestral repertoire. I had done, you know, like all state competitions and all Eastern competitions, all county for my bass performance, and group performances. I'd done a bunch of like outside ensembles for jazz and for orchestra. And then when I came to Richmond, it was a little weird with COVID. I joined the orchestra with Mr. K, who is a legend, and and it was just wild because it was like COVID, so there's only 12 people in the orchestra, and it wasn't that good, but I still had a great time doing it. And then by my sophomore year, I had, you know, joined a fraternity and met a bunch of cool friends. One of those friends, Will Harford, who also played the guitar, and he was a music major. He was big in the music school, and he kind of brought a bunch of us together, and we started a band. And that's pretty awesome. It's kind of still going on right now.
Okay, so can you talk more about your band? So how did you start it?
Yeah.
With
So
your friends?
so it started with Will and me jamming together in his room in Gray Court like once when I was a freshman, and he was like, whoa, like, you know, we were both like, whoa, like we really enjoy playing with each other.
Yeah.
And then he had kind of gone into school thinking like, oh, I want to, you know, start a band. That was like his thing. He came to college really just to start a band. So that was something that we had both kind of wanted. I hadn't really done much like band gigging. Yeah, but like going into college, is my sophomore year, we started playing. We found, you know, some drummers, a bassist, and a singer. And we went through like a couple of iterations of the band, and then after a while, we started, you know, we solidified, you know, the band members, and it started out just being jams, but then it was really like practicing, and we wanted to find gigs, and we played our first gig in Will's basement for a party, and then the rest is history, I guess.
Have you published songs?
No, we haven't. We haven't published any music, original music yet. We started almost a year ago. We started posting a lot on like TikTok, just like a bunch of covers, like small clips of covers, and we've started to gain some traction from that. We have like 200,000 followers now on TikTok, which is pretty awesome. We just started recording original music this summer, and we actually have our first debut single dropping in less than a month, October 20th.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how many people are there in your band?
There's 5 of us in the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're playing different roles?
Yeah. So right now I predominantly play guitar. My buddy Declan also plays the guitar. Will plays the bass. Eamon is the singer, and Chris Conti is the drummer. And we've kind of, especially guitar and bass, we switch around a lot because each of us know how to play both instruments. But it's pretty consistently me and Declan on guitar, Will on bass.
Okay. So what is your first memory about going to concert?
My first memory going to concert, yeah, it was like so awesome. The first show I played was in Will's basement at like a frat party. It was like wild. I was playing like a crappy guitar out of a crappy amp, and we had a crappy drum set and crappy mics and speakers, and everything was just like really bad. But we like packed this basement with like 150 people, and we had, you know, curated a set that was like kind of fun to play for us, but it was more just like for the audience, because we knew that you know, a show is only as good as the audience thinks it is. Yeah. So we just, you know, figured out a list of, you know, probably an hour's worth of songs that would just like get the crowd hype. And we started playing, and immediately everyone was just jumping around, singing, dancing, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah. So have you thought about how many people are there in your band first, or you just like other people get interested and join your band?
That's a good question. So it wasn't like a conscious decision to make like however many people we had in the band. It was more like we, you know, obviously for like the kind of music that we were playing, you know, it's very, you know, it lends itself very well to a couple of guitars, a bass, and drums, and a vocalist. You know, and it was kind of like that idea, and we were open to other things. You know, we'd played gigs with a sax player and with keys and stuff like that, but it kind of just seemed that there were like a lot less variables to control when it's just, you know, the 5 of us, and that's just kind of how it panned out. We'd always, you know, and then after that, it was more like choosing songs that fit our band, and not a lot of choosing a band that would fit the songs that we wanted to play.
Okay.
Yeah. So
have you, what do you think you want to do for the music part of the future?
That's a great question.
Yeah, do you want to go solo or continue with the band?
Definitely not going solo. Definitely not going solo. Well, you know, going into college, I had, you know, I'm still pre-med biochem major.
Yeah.
So, you know, the plan is go to medical school, which is a little weird considering, you know, how big of a part this band is playing in my life. And I think I just need to play it by ear. You know, obviously I'm still, you know, taking the MCAT, and I'm still taking all my classes. But But you know, however long as the band is you know prospering and doing well, I'll still be a part of it. I know it's yeah. I mean, I just freaking love doing it. So as you know, if I can do it forever, I would.
Okay. You told me before you're Greek. Can you tell more about that?
Yeah. My you know, both sets of my grandparents were from Greece, up north in the mountains in Epidós, and they moved here and you know had my parents, and my parents grew up in a big fat Greek family. You know, they only spoke Greek at home, and now I'm still you know being Greek is a big part of my life, and I'm fluent in Greek. I've done you know a lot with the Greek community here in Richmond and in New York. So yeah, being Greek has been a big thing for me.
So can you talk more about the Greek music and how is it different from the U.S. music?
Yeah. I've had a fair amount of experience with Greek music. There are kind of two different types of Greek music. There's kind of like now there's been an emergence of like you know pop music, electronic. There's even like you know Greek rap, drill rap. But there's also you know traditional music that varies from island to island, from region to region in Greece. And you know I'm very fond of the music from the region that my grandparents are from. It's not my favorite. You know I've been I don't talk about it much, but when I was in high school, I was in a Greek dance troupe. So dance is a very big thing in Greece. And again, each region, you know, if you go from island to island, they'll have different music and different dances that incorporate that. My favorite island, Crete, you know, not my favorite island, but my favorite you know, musical in terms of music. My favorite island would be Crete. The Cretans were warriors, and you know their music and their dance is very heavy, very you know percussive, and their dance is you know very impressive and physical because they were all you know warriors, which you know I think is an awesome thing. What else have I done in Greek music? There's the Greek music. It's called the bouzouki. It's kind of like a big mandolin. And it's played much like a mandolin with you know very quick you know melodic lines. In terms of the differences between Greek and American music, you know the instrumentation is often very different. There's a lot of actually in Epidós up north there's a lot of clarinet, which is really funny because you see clarinet happen in a lot of American music, which is pretty similar. But there's also like, you know, some bagpipe types of instruments and a bunch of different, you know, kind of hand drums and drums you hold over your shoulder. So it is fairly different, especially when you get into like the folk kind of you know region specific music. But in terms of pop music, it's all kind of the same wherever you go.